Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to send or store key value data using glance state definition in your Android widget with Jetpack Glance in Flutter Android application. So let's get started. Here you can see I have one button. Now this button is created using Flutter, but once the button is clicked, I'm invoking a method channel which will update some data inside some key value pair which is using glance state definition, and that internally update our widget. So what I will do is that I will just close my app. I will again I'm mirroring my device, so the output is little laggy. I will just long press on this app icon. I will click on widgets. So this is the preview image for my widget. You can use whatever you feel like, and then I'll just click on add, and here you can see my widget is displayed. Again it is taking a little bit of time. So currently it is showing that counter value is no data found. Currently there is no data inside our glance state definition. That's why it is saying something like this. But what I will do now is I will just go back to my app and I will click on this update widget button. So I have clicked on it. It will insert some data which I am sending it from the Flutter side, and it will also update our widget. So if I show you my widget now, here you can see I am basically inserting date time inside my glance state definition, but you can use whatever you feel like. It's up to you. So yeah, so let's get started how to do this. Again, if you click on this update widget button, again you will see new data over here. So yeah, it's up to you how you want to do this. So firstly, as usual, I have created a Flutter application. So this is our Flutter application, and here I have just imported this particular thing, and here I have refactored this my homepage widget to be a stateful widget. And here you can see I have created a method channel called widget platform. Now same thing we will have to define it on native Android side as well, because this will help us to invoke the method which will store some data inside our glance state definition and also update our widget. So if you see the build method, here I have a scaffold, a safe area, column. Inside that I have text button, and on click of that button, all I am doing is I am getting the date time, and then I'm invoking a method called update, and I'm passing the date time to our by using this particular variable, so that our native Android side can access this, store it inside glance state definition, and update our widget as well. And here you can see this is just a normal text of update widget. I've given it some text style as well. Now firstly, ignore the Android widget part that I'll show you later on. First let's look at this method channel part and this particular method. So for that you will have to go to Android app src main kotlin main activity.kt. So firstly you will have to add all this particular imports which I have. So make sure you copy all this imports. Then we are just overriding this particular method called configure Flutter engine, and here we are listening for this method channel called widget platform. And once the update method is called, firstly we get the data which you are sending it from the Flutter side. Then on a background thread we are trying to find our widget. So I will show you this later on. So I have created another Kotlin file called my widget over here. So that's what we are referencing over here. In case if you decide to rename it something else, make sure you rename it over here as well as over here as well. So that's what we are doing. We are just finding our widget, and then we are just looping over all the widget state. And this so this is the string. I'm storing data in string format. That's why I'm using string preference key, and this is the key name. Now you can use whatever key name you feel like, and if there is data from Flutter side, we are just using that data. If there is no data, then I'm just saying no data found. Okay, and here we are updating our widget as well. So pretty simple inside main activity. Now we'll have to create our widget. So for that you will first have to go to build.gradle, and here scroll down, and here you will have to use this build feature compose to compile options. You just have to add all this stuff. So this is boilerplate code which you have to write every time you want to include Jetpack Glance to create Android widgets. Now this particular version number is very important. This matches with your Kotlin version. I am using Kotlin 1.9.25, which I will show you later on where I am exactly using it. but this 1.9.25 kotlin version corresponds to this 1.5.15 version. So if you're using some different kotlin version, at least use 1.9.25. that's what I would recommend. If you're using higher than that, make sure you check the documentation on what exact version we need to use if the kotlin version is different. Okay, this is again boilerplate code which you have to write. Then you will have to add this dependencies block, and inside that I have added two dependency, glance app widget as well as glance material 3. So you can just add these two widgets. Once that is done, you will have to go to settings.gradle, and here you can see I have updated the kotlin version to 1.9.25. so make sure you update the kotlin version as well. Then you will have to go to android manifest.xml, and here the only thing which I have done is that before this application tag ends, I have added this receiver. So we need to create this kotlin file called map widget receiver, which I have already created and exported is true. This is boilerplate code of creating an intent filter and doing app widget update. And then we also need to create XML file called my app widget info. Now we will be creating 3 XML files. The reason is because firstly our main SDK I think is 21 or 23. Okay, and some attributes of this app widget info which I want to use are available from 28 and some are available from SDK 31. So that's why we have to create 3 my app widget info, and for that we have to create 3 separate folders of XML as well. So we will be looking into this first. So for this you will have to go to where did it go, src main. You will have to go to res folder. Inside res I think you already will be seeing this XML folder, but you will have to create 2 more XML folders. One is xml-v28, make sure you name it like this only, and second one is xml-v31. Now inside the main XML folder, firstly create an XML file called my app widget info, which we are same name which we are using it over here. So you can copy this code. Now firstly is the resize mode, whether horizontal or vertical, after how much time you want to update your widget. This is the mean height, mean width of your widget, mean resize height, mean resize width. This is the description. Now for description, don't just add something like this, my app description. You can't add some hard coded text like this, you will get an error. So for if you want, description is optional, but if you want to add description, what you will have to do, you will have to go to the values folder. Inside that you will have to go to strings.xml, and here you just, I'm just using this app name as a description, but just like this you can create one more string and give it some key name and give it some value as well, and use that key name over here. Then this initial layout, this is from Jetpack Glance itself, we don't have to create this. So the loading layout which you saw at the start was from this particular thing, and here I have also added preview image. Again, this is optional. So inside drawable folder I have just added this particular image, but feel free to use whatever image you feel like. Similarly for XML v28 as well, it is exactly the same what I just shown you, but only thing is I have just added this initial layout as well. So that's the only thing which you have to add, rest everything remains the same. Then you will have to go to xml-v31. again it's almost the same, only thing which I have added is this max resize height, max resize width, target cell width as well as target cell height, and I think this as well, widget features. Also in v28 we have added this, not initial layout, we have added this widget features. Again, I'm not really sure what this widget feature is useful for, but yeah, it was in the documentation, that's why I'm using it. Okay, so this is done. Next you will also have to go to layout and create this custom error layout.xml. In case if your Android widget fails to render, then it can fall back to this XML file and just render this particular thing. So here I have just taken a linear layout as well as a text view. Important thing to note is I have just given it an ID as well. This ID is useful if you want to update the text programmatically. If you don't want to update it, here I have given it some sample text, so it's up to you. You can also take an image view. Don't overcomplicate this because I think not all XML attributes or XML widgets are supported in this inside Android widget. So yeah, I have used something like this. Then I just went to Kotlin Java, Kotlin.com Flutter app. First I have created this my app widget receiver, which we were referencing inside our Android manifest file. So it extends from glance app widget receiver, and we have to override this particular thing. And here I'm referencing a file called my widget. So I have created this my widget.kt file as well. So firstly, there are a lot of imports, so you can just copy paste all this import. One thing which I want to warn you is, suppose if you are using Jetpack Compose as well inside your Flutter application apart from Jetpack Glance, make sure you only add Jetpack Glance imports inside your Android widget or in this particular file. If you by mistakenly even add one Jetpack Compose import, then this particular thing will render custom error layout. In our current scenario, we have not added Jetpack Compose dependency, so we can't really import it. Even if we import it, we will get a error at build time itself. But if you import a Jetpack Compose dependency and you import Jetpack Compose import as well, then you will get an error at runtime. So I think this is very bad experience. In case if you didn't understand what I was trying to say, it's okay, just ignore it. You can just copy paste all these imports which I have firstly. Okay, then I'm extending my widget from glance app widget. Then here we have to define this glance state definition as well. This is very important. Then we are overriding this particular method as well as this provide content. Then we are creating this preferences, and this is our string preference key of now. All right, and this is the key name. You can use whatever you feel like, it's up to you, but yeah. And here I'm just saying no data found. So inside glance theme, I have just given a title bar. This is our column as well, and if you see inside this text element, I'm just displaying counter value is $now, which means whatever is the value present inside over here, if we get it, then we'll display it. Otherwise we just say no data found. Okay, and here this action doesn't really work. I think this is a bug in Jetpack Glance dependency. Maybe in future they will fix it, but I have also created a button in case this particular thing works. Once you click on the button, it will open your app. So yeah, that's it. And if I scroll down here, I am also overriding this on composition error method. So this will get called in case if there is any issue rendering this Jetpack Glance code. So here you can see we are referencing this custom error layout file which we created inside our layout folder. Then we get hold of our text view with the help of the ID which we had defined over here. So that's what we are using over here, and whatever is the error message, I'm just displaying inside the text, but you can change it to whatever you feel like, and then we just update our widget. So yeah, I think that's it. Let me quickly check. Shown you this, shown you this, I've shown you all this. Yeah, I think so. That's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.